void. Void. Situated just under 40 miles to the southeast of the Music City and about a 20-minute drive down I-840 from Lebanon, sits a very unique 1.3-mile concrete oval. The Nashville Superspeedway was a big player in NASCAR Xfinity and Truck Series races throughout the 2000s and early 2010s, and in recent years making a big resurgence even in the NASCAR Cup Series. Well, tonight we get to see the Cup cars grace this concrete facility once more as we march ever closer to the season finale in California. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green Flag TV. My name is Nolan Rampo, bringing you all of the coverage here tonight from start to finish as we swing into Tennessee for race number 19 of the L-TAC All-Street Media Cup Series. It's going to be a long and hard-fought race here tonight as we will look set to duke it out for 150 laps around the Nashville Superspeedway. You can tell there's a lot of energy in the air, and a lot of these drivers are going to be absolutely flying here tonight as they try to see who will come out on top of this third race in a 5-race shootout for the Cup. Right now, taking a look at the point standings, entering racing action tonight, Holden McGill, the main favorite to win it all here in this season, remains on the top by just 9 points over Ryan Dingler. Austin Gassion sits another 5 out from the Badger Racing 1-2. Grant Peterson right now trying to see if he can get around Gassion to make it a Badger 1-2-3 in the points. With Spencer Ray closing out the top 5. Kyle Green right now still one of the few drivers who has not made a lot of starts over here in playoff competition. In fact, hasn't made any starts in chase competition so far and is again a no-show here tonight. So Kyle Green is effectively down, and now Justin Wilson is at a dangerous place of having the same. In terms of the best of the rest, Nate Brooker stands above it all, down to the number 16 spot, 370 points to Matt Cherry's 322. So no doubt we could be seeing Brooker and Cherry potentially duking it out, but that would rely on Matt Cherry having to close that gap in, which right now, nowhere close to having that thing done. Qualifying is currently underway. There is Nate Brooker at the moment working his way up and around the circuit. Nate Brooker currently sitting in the number 11 spot as he takes his way up and around. Currently sits in that number 11 spot as he will dive down and into turn numbers 3 and 4. Sits 11th on the grid so far. And he will cross the start as Stephen Purcell works his way up and around through turn numbers 3 and 4 to the front straightaway. His first time puts him in at the number 11 spot. So Nate Brooker moved his way up to 10th. Purcell will retake that position in that 11th place. He's not the only one, remember, it's Austin McColgan as well. Trying to see if he's got some kind of momentum a little ways further in behind as well. The Halvoline, number 57 Camry, working around the high side of turn numbers 3 and 4. Tracks down low across start finish, and for Purcell, is it any improvement? A little bit. He'll improve up to the number 9 spot. Now, once again, the question is, what can Austin McColgan do? The next driver, and in fact, not happy with that first lap. He's going to drag that car to a stop and reset back to pit road as he's going to be trying to get himself sorted. Devin Pirog on his first flying lap will take you riding on board with the number 36 as he takes it for a trip around the Nashville Superspeedway. Devin Pirog only going to be good enough for the number 12 spot here in this one as he is going to find himself down and out. And now, with all that said and done, we have qualifying wrapped up. Your lucky draw will be the driver starting in the number 2 spot. So let's take a rundown here of what your starting grid is going to look like as we get set to go racing for 150 laps around Nashville's 1.3-mile Superspeedway. Starting on the pole, Holden McGill with the 29.220. Grant Peterson sits a little further back, just about a tenth of a second off in that number 2 spot. He is your lucky draw driver. He gets 3 bonus points if he wins the racing action here tonight. Spencer Ray starts in 3rd with Bear Morton in 4th. Ryan Dingler is in 5th with Sean Kaiser closing out 6th. Sean Deal is 7th with Frank Flores in 8th. Stephen Purcell is 9th. Josh McDougall rounds out the top 10. Nate Brooker, Devin Pirog, Justin Wilson, Austin McColgan, and Austin Gassion will be bringing up the rear of the field. McColgan and Gassion, 2 drivers opting not to qualify here tonight. So that is it then. All drivers are lined up and ready to go. Well, for the most part, drivers are lined up and ready to go as the field will be working its way out of pit road. Gassion opting not to put down a qualifying lap, and he will miss the starting call as well. So we're going to put it now to just 14 cars, taking us up and around the racetrack. Fuel numbers looking to be right about the 70 to 80 lap range, so not until about halfway are we going to be seeing a lot of these drivers coming down and in for pits, unless some drivers opt to come in a little bit earlier for pit stops. And of course, lap 75, that is where your stage will come to its conclusion as well. So there's really 2 strategies to go for. You can either go for fresher tires, that'll put you at laps 50 and 100 for the pits, or just on the fuel, you try to stretch to 75 and go from there. But we're working to turn numbers 3 and 4, this time by Holden McGill will be your control car as the base car will look to duck down into pit road, this time by. And once again, we are happy that you are joining us here on this beautiful Friday night as Holden McGill works into the restart zone. Green flags out. We are racing in Nashville. Holden McGill leads lap number 1 to green. The rest of the pack ducking and dicing just in behind as Grant Peterson trying to charge after him for that number 2 spot as he fired down the back straightaway for the 2nd time tonight. Sean Deal being put under fire by Stephen Purcell. Purcell trying to work around the top side, and the Havoline machine will put Deal down into 9th. And as is so often the norm, we will quickly single file it out. Nashville Superspeedway, a bottom lane heavy racetrack, as most concrete venues are. We will be seeing the same when we get around to Dover Downs next week and we go racing at the Monster Mile. For the time being, the top 4 on a breakaway, McGill, Peterson, Ray, and Dingler all packed up line to stern, 1st through 4th. As we keep our momentum going through turn numbers 3 and 4 and across the start finish line, McGill continuing to lead the way so far. Bit further down in the pack here as Nate Brooker and Justin Wilson looking set to try to duke it out amongst themselves. Brooker trying to keep it out in front of Wilson's 09 as a number 3 car going to just maintain that 12th position for now. Right now, Frank Flores and Stephen Purcell both at 1 position. Sean Deal continuing on the backslide. He's already down 2 positions. That's about to be 3 as Josh McDougall tries to get around him now, and he'll look to the inside down into turn 1. And this looks like it could be a fairly easy overtake there for Josh McDougall to make to the inside. Up front as well, the battle for 3rd. Ryan Dingler sweeps clear on Spencer Ray and tracks through 3 and 4. Checking him back in on McDougall and Deal, scrapping for that number 9 spot, but now Sean Deal trying to pull that outside a little bit more with some outside momentum coming out of turn 2. Whether or not that's working, though, remains to be seen. On board right now with McDougall as he tracks to the inside of Sean Deal, trying to make this look down to the turn number 1. Deal continuing to hang on for just a bit longer. McDougall will siphon through, and that will put the 45 up and into 9th place. You still got the 44, though. Fighting back, looking for the inside line. Just behind, Nate Brooker with that front row seat. Pirog up top. Deal will hang on. McDougall forced to yield as Nate Brooker trying to go for the lunge around the top side of the 45. Down to the turn numbers 1 and 2. See that outside lane starting to fall away. McDougall with a bit of damage on the right rear, possibly caught the outside wall. That could be what is right now hindering that machine, as Brooker will also try to pull around that 45. Battle's also on for second as Ryan Dingler on a big run, looking for the outside of his teammate. And Grant Peterson stuck down low. Dingler throwing this one in around the top side of 3 and 4. And so close at the line right now. Dingler remains clear. Peterson second. McGill with the lead. Dingler forced to yield. So the Badger Racing 1, 2, 3 still not looking like they're going to be too displeased with this run, but your lucky draw driver, Grant Peterson, looking to the bottom. Trying to gun it for the race lead into turn 1. McGill hanging on to the inside. Peterson, will he look to break around the top of 1 and 2? Dingler sits third. And Spencer Ray just tagging on to the back of the top 3 as well. Once again, Peterson looking high, looking low, trying to find some way through. While Holden McGill continues to hang on pretty convincingly with that race lead. He has led every lap of this race so far. So Dingler's Hex Armor number 8 will keep trying to apply that pressure to the back bumper of the 52. Check back in on Sean Kaiser and more, as there you saw Frank Flores trying to dip 2 wheels onto the apron. Flores trying to look to get around the Camberota Truck Parts Camaro. So far, though, no dice. Deal under fire again, this time from Devin Pirog. Oh, Deal's it too hot. Pirog going to go for the over-under on him. Coming off of turn 2 and thundering down the backstretch. At 36, looking like it could have a look here, trying to get to the inside line. Oh, slides up. And a little bit of contact into the side of the 44. Nothing too crazy, though. They'll keep themselves sorted. A bit of a brush with the outside wall, possibly for Purcell. And then all the meanwhile, the top 4 also remaining single file. First, second, third, and fourth right now have broken away by about 2 seconds. from Bear Morton on back. Ryan Dingler will look to the inside of the Hex Armor Camry, will pick off Grant Peterson. So put Dingler back into the number 2 spot. Next driver to try to knock down will be Holden McGill. McGill, though, ever a tough driver to try to get around, and he has been dominant so far this season. Very much has the potential here to lock away this championship before the final race if the grids stay as they are. The big question for that 21 car, is he ever going to make a mistake? Right now, making a mistake is, I think, one of the only ways we could be seeing that machine dropping towards the back of the field. But you're hard-pressed to find any mistakes that McGill has made all season long. I mean, he has been this has been one of the most impressive drives I have seen, quite possibly ever, in my years of doing commentary work, of which there are few in number. So Holden McGill right now is definitely the driver to beat, but it'll be a tough challenge for anybody that tries to throw down the gauntlet. 4 wins so far. He got the hat trick 3 in a row last week. He is trying to go for 4, and if he can, I'm willing to bet he could very well go for a clean sweep on the entire championship. Looking back to Kaiser, Flores, Purcell run 6th, 7th, and 8th. And further behind them, another second back, you got Sean Deal, Nate Brooker, and Devin Purog. Linus Stern into the outside wall goes Austin McColgan's number 23. So for McColgan, having some troubles in the early going, as that car will drift up and attack the outside wall pretty heftily, coming off of 4. See all that damage done to the right front, and we'll get a good look at that here as he'll work around turns 3 and 4. And the Tony Kart Camry has seen better days. As you can see all that damage on the right-hand side, and that will, I think, force him to let Josh McDougall through. So McDougall pokes clear for 12th. Top 3 still the closest actual battle pack on the racetrack, but once again, these drivers are all, well, I was going to say the world team, but Spencer Ray, of course, not among the Badger Racing crew. Working lap 24 as we dive down to turn 1. Spencer Ray getting a little bit more antsy, now starting to look to the inside. He could throw a move here into turn 3 if he opts to go for it. He definitely thought about it, but I don't think ended up committing to that pass. So Ryan Dingler will remain packed up in line with the one just behind. Spencer Ray, trying. He can get to the bottom of them, maybe. I don't think it's quite going his way, though, that he thought it might, as try as he may, it's a difficult track to pass on, and that's one of Nashville's big challenges. It's like all concrete tracks. It is very, very difficult to get any kind of a move done here, but it looks like Spencer Ray could have one done into turn 1, this time by on 27. Looks for the inside and looking like he will pick off Ryan Dingler. But a side draft going on down the back straightaway. Spencer Ray sending it in deep, and this time clears. So Ray tracks up in front of Dingler. He'll pick up the number 2 spot, but now is a good half a second behind Holden McGill because of that side-by-side battling. So Spencer Ray will need a bit of momentum here if he wants to close down the gap to Holden McGill. We'll check back on that in a little bit. Sean Deal and Nate Brooker right now in a bit of a pack of, a little duo of their own, as this is for 9th and 10th. Trying to make something, if anything, happen right now. It's, again, not the easiest of tasks, but they're making it work so far. So the fight for 9th, truly kicking off in earnest. And a little ways behind them, Josh McDougall getting around Devin Pure like that for the number 11 spot. And that was working out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Then, of course, the 3-way battle for 5th as well. Bear Morton leads the way. Sean Kaiser, Frank Flores a bit trailing a little bit, down to 6th and 7th. Gap's very much ebbing and flowing right now, all the way up and down throughout this field. One gap that is ebbing, though, is going to be Holden McGill. Yeah, the driver, the number 21, has been losing a bit of that pace, and the last few laps, Spencer Ray has been slowly but surely reeling in this 21 car. Could we see Spencer Ray try to go for it? Going to have a fight for the lead on our hands here in just a minute, as the Busch Light Camry trying to track up to get around Holden McGill's number 21. While Ray continues to close the gap, Sean Kaiser got around Bear Morton for the number 5 spot, and this is how this one happened. Lined up the pass and center down the inside of turn 3. And that puts Sean Kaiser up to the top 5. And Morton continuing on the backslide, as now Frank Flores looking to get around Morton as well, and he will do just that. We're starting to see drivers that burned their stuff up in the early going start to drop off, and that could be what has impacted Holden McGill here. The lap times continue to crumble. Sitting almost a second slower than his fast laps so far in this race, only 30 laps in. There's Austin McColgan down to the inside line. Way down on the racetrack, in fact, potentially just letting the leaders through. He will be the first car to go one lap down. Ray not letting this battle for the lead go in the slightest. Taking that wider arc through, trying to carry momentum through the mid-corner and get a run on the exit. Trouble Devin Purog into the infield grass of the front straightaway. He will recover his car. But a wild slide for Purog as he side slaps the outside wall. Coming out of 4, then drifts into the infield. Did a good job, though, to hang on to that. We will stay green. McGill's starting to build the gap out a little bit more, so looking like Spencer Ray may have lost his chance. As that 21 car starts to sneak a bit further clear, coming out of turn 4. And further behind, how about Grant Peterson and Sean Kaiser sitting 4th and 5th? Right now, about 5 seconds behind the leaders, and Sean Kaiser, another one of these drivers that has been moving up and up throughout this field. Grant Peterson has lost a lot of that pace that he had in the early going. So your lucky draw winner now at risk of losing the top 5. I think it's freight train here by Kaiser and Flores. Sean Kaiser gets to the inside, and he'll put that 24 truck into 4th. Not yet, though, says Grant Peterson, as Peterson still fighting it out on the top side. Not going to let this top 5 position go without a fight. Peterson backs off, forced to yield. Sean Kaiser continues his momentum run into 4th. Frank Flores, Bear Morton also in the pack here, and now Grant Peterson looking like he could use some assistance from some of these drivers, well, from his teammates, but unfortunately all his teammates way up the road, and right now those tires are effectively gone, and you can see just how much he is holding these two up behind him as Sean Kaiser driving away up the road. Frank Flores trying to get in deep. Oh, gives him the bumper there. Trying to move Grant Peterson up and out of the way, letting them know, hey, I'm here, I want to go. But that unsettled the 88 enough to give Bear Morton a run around the outside line. So put the number 9 car now in a much better position to capitalize on this run. And that will give Grant Peterson much needed breathing room. As Flores and Morton continue to go side by side. Battle for the top 2 has not gone anywhere, but right now it is all eyes on the final spots for the top 5 as Grant Peterson way overshoots turn 1. Morton easily slices through into that final spot for the first time all race long. Peterson put outside of the top 5, and now Frank Flores trying to once again reel in this gap. An ever elusive one. He gave Grant Peterson one bump already, and not would it surprise me if we saw him give a second here. But so far, that 52 car looks like he's found his momentum again, so he's going to continue to push with it. Or will he? Oh, into the outside wall goes Grant Peterson. Frank Flores puts him into it. And big trouble coming out of turn number 4. That's put a lot of damage on both drivers. Take a look at this as Grant Peterson drifted up. I think lifted to avoid hitting the wall. Flores ran him over. Hard hit for Grant Peterson. I think Flores escaped relatively unharmed. But boy, that is a nasty impact for that 52 car, and he is hurting now for sure. Flores sides up a pass. This time dives to the inside. Flores chased him up the track once and 4 already, and Grant Peterson pinched him down off of 2. I don't think too pleased about what happened there. But regardless, it will be the driver of the 88 to put his way up into 6th. Frank Flores gets through. He will now start to drive away. Another three-way battle back here. This is for 9th, 10th, and 11th as Purcell washes up, lets McDougal get to his inside. If you wanted to go for a 2-stop strategy, now would be about the best time to get to it. So we are starting lap 50 this next time around. McDougal gets around Purcell and put that 57 car back. How about Spencer Ray actually getting around Holden McGill, or at least trying to gun for it here. Around the outside, and the Busch Light Camry powering around the top. McGill trying to battle back down low, dives deep into turn 3, washes wide. And Ray back on the loud pedal. How about that? Spencer Ray trying to go for the race lead to defeat the undefeated Holden McGill again, drifting wide, and Spencer Ray will clear for the race lead. Good show there for Spencer Ray. And this is how he first got to the inside. Caught a bit of lap traffic that startled Holden McGill out, and that gave Ray all the momentum he needed to drive around the outside line. Devin Pirog, one of the drivers, opting to go for the 2-stop strategy, is down and into pit road, this time by on lap 53. So Pirog will make that trip down and into the pit lane. He will go 1 lap down. Austin McColgan, by the way, about 10 laps ago, officially put himself down and out. There's your battle for 3rd. Working around the tri-oval now and down into turn 1. Looking like so far Pirog going to be the only driver to attempt the 2-stop strategy. Everybody else missing that pit window. They are going to be going to halfway. Kaiser, the next driver, trying to look to the inside to pick off Ryan Dingler. Sends her in deep. And breaks clear. So Sean Kaiser will make his way up to 4th. 3rd now, excuse me. So racing action looking set to continue for the Nashville Superspeedway. So we are going to take ourselves a quick step back, and we will be back with more for the end of the stage with 20 laps to go, 19 at the line. You're watching the L-TAC Cup Series on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Less than 10 to go. The battle for the number 2 spot is on. Holden McGill trying to keep Sean Kaiser at bay. Kaiser to the inside, putting Holden McGill down into 3rd. Coming in this time by Stephen Purcell, Justin Wilson. Both could not make it to that halfway mark. And they'll have to stop one more time before the close of this race. Sean Deal also down and into pit road. While Spencer Ray, Sean Kaiser, and Holden McGill remain in 2nd and 3rd at the moment. Sorry, we just now hit 10 laps to go in stage number 1. Justin Wilson making his way out of pit road. Sean Deal currently in the box. Just behind there is Grant Peterson making his way into the lane. And in fact, Nate Brooker in as well. So a lot of drivers then pitting in here without too much time left here in this first stage. So looking like a two-stopper for sure. The only question will be, how much time do you spend in the pits for stop 2? Pretty obvious run on the tires for Nate Brooker. Grant Peterson in just behind, or just in front, excuse me, will no doubt do the same. McDougall into pit road this time by. Ryan Dingler, meanwhile, still trying to keep Barrett Morton behind. Both of these drivers have not pitted yet. No dramas so far on pit road. Nobody opting for any unorthodox strategies. It has been about as run-of-the-mill as you can get. And Spencer Ray, for the first time, will hit pit road, so your race leader into the box. Frank Flores in just behind as well. Holden McGill staying out for one more lap, as is Sean Kaiser. Ryan Dingler will do the same. Nate Brooker trying to get around McDougall at the moment, and just as we say that, here comes Ray and McGill and Kaiser all into pit road. So tracking the number 1, the number 21, and the 24 at the moment, all on the racetrack. You see Spencer Ray's number 1 car working around the top side of turn numbers 3 this time around. The 24 and the 21 still in pit road. This is the battle for the lead. You're watching on that track map, top right. Spencer Ray coming out of turn number 4 this time by. And looking like, despite their best efforts, Spencer Ray will blitz back into the net race lead. Kaiser will pick up second, and Holden McGill back in third. Now that is the difference right now, sitting at a good 4.2 seconds. Dingler, the next driver to bail out into pit road. How about Frank Flores trying to duck around Grant Peterson on 3-lap pressure tires? Lunging for the inside line. Barrett Morton, in the meantime, doing his darndest to stay out as long as he can. He is really putting a lot of faith right now into the 4-tire strategy, or into the one-stop strategy. He works lap 74, but hey, if he can make this work, this could be a legendary scene for sure. He is not going to be in the race lead when we get around that. We know this for a fact. Right now, Spencer Ray lunged around the outside of the number 9. But Barrett Morton on a very unique pit strategy right now. He will come in this time by just after Spencer Ray unlaps himself. We see a lot more drivers work their way back onto the lead lap now. Spencer Ray with a lap and a half left to go in stage number 1. I believe he will end up being the stage winner. Sure enough, Ray will blitz back into the race lead, and we start the final trip officially in this opening stage. Spencer Ray out of the final corner. He will win stage number 1 by a landslide. Sean Kaiser down to the number 2 spot will pick up second. Holden McGill will be in third with Ryan Dingler back in fourth. Sean Deal secures the number 5 position with Frank Flores in 6th, Grant Peterson 7th. Bear Morton back in 8th, Purcell 9th, and Josh McDougall just fending off Nate Brooker for 10th. So I'm very curious to see how this strategy is going to pan out for Bear Morton, because this Riley Roses for cystic fibrosis number 9 Chevy Camaro is on. He is the only car that has driven his machine. Actually, he is one of 2 that has driven his machine into lap 70. Past lap 70, 71. He did almost make it halfway. If he can clutch and coast, save a bit of fuel, I firmly believe we could see this number 9 car end up in victory lane. We'll take a look at the pit strategy, and this will, of course, be for the entirety now of the top 10. Kind of show you where all the strategy lies, and you can see just how drastically long he went on that stint to make that work. I don't know. It's a very bold strategy, but it could pan out for him. But at this point, who knows, right? You got to try to work with what you got. We are still caution-free. We have not had the yellow flag that we thought we might, that we so often do see early on at Nashville Superspeedway. This is looking like it could very well be one of the cleaner races of the season. In fact, one of the cleanest races of the season. And all of it coming down to pit strategy. A topic that has come up a lot in recent weeks on Green Flag TV. Hey, it's a chase race, though. You got to do what you can to punch your ticket through to the end. He wants to make sure he can be in the best possible situation for these last 2 races. The last 2 of which will be taking place, one in Delaware, one in Fontana. The Dover Motor Speedway will host the penultimate round of the L-TAC Cup Series, and then the Auto Club Speedway will see the finale for a 200-mile event to close out what has been an awesome year of racing. Or awesome season of racing, I should say. Taking a look at the upcoming shows here on Green Flag TV. Tomorrow morning, the VSCA Sports Car Championship swings out to the streets of California for the MV Skin Lab Grand Prix of Long Beach. An hour and 40 minutes around the California streets on a bright, sunny morning. It'll be a good show for sports car lovers with GGP, LMP2, and GT Pro and Am Fields all out in full force for round number 2 of the championship of the first points paid sprint race. The ASRL Next Gen Cup Series will return on February 18th for their next race at the Talladega Superspeedway. That'll be at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, of course, it will be all down to the OMSRO Truck Series for their longest race of the season at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 200 miles, 134 laps around America's home for motorsports. That'll be on Tuesday night at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. In fact, I am going to make a quick correction on that. We do not have the ASRO Next Gen Cup Series out racing on Sunday night. They are off this week for the Daytona 500. My mistake. I completely forgot that they were not racing this week. Meanwhile, we look back to the on-track action for L-TAC, and Sean Deal currently heads the way with Frank Flores, Grant Peterson, and more just packed up behind. Four-way battle. Frank Flores, Grant Peterson, Bear Morton all in the fray. And Flores lunging for the inside, trying to pick off the driver of the 44. Couldn't get around him. Going to try to make another stab at it. Bear Morton's got to make short work of these guys. He is wasting so much time sitting behind these guys when he's got the freshest tires in the field. And Morton sure knows it. He's going to look to the inside. Couldn't get a momentum run, though, that time through. Nashville, right? It's all about momentum. Both the Fairground Speedway and the main oval track are both like this, right? They are both very much based purely off of momentum. It's given us this big four-car battle pack, though. Morton, seeing if he can't establish a run around the top of three, trying to cut back low. Grant Peterson looking to lunge to the inside, and now looking like Morton could very well squeeze through. Morton slides into seventh, trying to go into sixth as well to get around Frank Flores. So Morton will get through and sizes up the pass now to get around Sean Deal, looking to the inside, and will pick off the 44. So Sean Deal going to be the next driver to fall. Bear Morton now into the top five, and now with a lot of clean air to make good use out of that fresh rubber. Flores now back to the bottom of Deal, trying to go back at him. One of the biggest battles on the racetrack so far. Could not get to the inside in four. I think he gave him the bumper there in one. Trying to go back at him here down the back straightaway. And this time, Flores is through. Stephen Purcell and Nate Brooker will look to try to make, a bit of a move as Brooker getting a bit out of shape. Purcell trying to get up and wide as Purcell, Brooker, McDougall in a battle for ninth on back. Good show so far as the 57, the 3, and the 45 will look to continue to duke at it. Devin Pirog back into pit road for the second and potentially final time tonight. The first driver to bail for final pit stops. Brooker still trying to get around Purcell here. Oh, contact once, twice. Getting argy-bargy now as the 3 lunges for the inside, and he will pick off Purcell. And Josh McDougall just behind, trying to set up another overtake, getting right to the back bumper of Purcell then. Although not quite able to go for the lunge that he was hoping for. It'll come, though. Purcell's tires are fading. That 57 car tried to cut back, took a very early entry there into turn 3. Nate Brooker said, no, sir, you're going to stay right behind me. And now McDougall continuing to want to have some kind of a say in how this battle could pan out. He's now looking for the inside, trying to move Purcell up the track. He'll get to the inside, down the back straightaway. Just in with the quarter panel, lets Nate Brooker start to get away. And McDougall is back to it. Put McDougall back up into the top 10, right where he started today. Purcell will be relegated down to 11th as hard as he tried. Bear Morton, furthest driver of the field that is in a battle pack. He's trying to get around Ryan Dingler. And remember, Bear Morton is one of those drivers that we believe could be in a position to make it to the end of this race if he can make this one-stop work. Whereas quite a few other drivers might be forced to make that final pit stop. Two drivers we believe will have to come down again, Grant Peterson and Sean Deal. Last pitted on lap 64 and 65. They're now going to get to the side of each other. Drifting wide out of turn 4. Deal just hanging on. But man, these battles are getting close. Field may be spread out, but this is an awesome race that we're having so far. Action everywhere you look. They should call this the action track. As Brooker now again in a battle with McDougall. And McDougall makes short work of the British bomber as Nate Brooker relegated down and into 10th. Well, a lot of racing still left to go. And not a lot of time for these drivers to make these moves happen. Let's take a rundown top to bottom throughout your entire field as we'll go to a Green Flag TV midway race break with less than 50 laps to go in this one. Heading up the train, it is Spencer Ray in the number 1 by 4 seconds over Sean Kaiser. Holden McGill running in the number 3 spot, 14 seconds back. Ryan Dingler sitting back and forth. He is right now in a battle with Barron Morton. Frank Flores sits in 6th with Sean Deal in 7th. Deal trying to fend off Grant Peterson, who is charging up in 8th. Josh McDougall is 9th with Nate Brooker in 10th. Stephen Purcell rounds out the 11th spot. He is the final driver that is right now on the lead lap. Justin Wilson sits 2 laps down. Devin Pirog is 3 down to Austin McCulkin, the first driver down and out of this race. Grant Peterson trying to get up and around. Deal this time by will look to the inside. Could not get the pass done, though. He got there, but Deal was just able to pull that outside a little bit more. And while Peterson is on fresh tires, it's not by much. He's only out there on 1 lap fresher tires than Deal is, which could very well prove where that struggle is coming in for that number 52. So just over 45 laps still left to go. We're going to take a step away. You are watching the L-TAC Cup Series on Green Flag TV. Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Spencer Ray, your race leader with 40 laps to go, just made his way down into pit road for the final time. He will now be good to go to the end of this race. The question still remains, can Barrett Morton say the same, running up in third? Right now, Spencer Ray down by a lap, but Barrett Morton down by half a lap. That's not a lot of time it's not a lot of a gap for Ray to hang on to when you've got, we're talking quite a little bit on fresher tires. He put right sides on, but he did not take lefts. And Barrett Morton is clutching, coasting right now. So whether or not Morton makes it is a really big to be determined. Right now, Sean Deal is the next driver into pit road. Grant Peterson just on his way out of pit road, as is Josh McDougall. Sean Deal, the next driver to fully come down to the pit for his final service of the night. Still caution free for race number 19 of the L-TAC Cup Series at Nashville Superspeedway. And it'll be 4 tires and fuel for Sean Deal, as Frank Flores will be the next one to hit pit road. Barrett Morton just got around Ryan Dingler, and I am curious to hear if Morton is clutch and coasting. Listen in as we approach turn number 3. no lifting coasting there, so I'm curious on what Barry Morton's thought process is. It sounds like he thinks he is good to go. The problem is Spencer Ray is running him down, and right now, running him down quickly. We're talking almost a second a lap. At that rate, Ray would easily catch Barry Morton before the end of this race. Dingler behind Ray is clutching. McGill in front of Morton is clutching. He is the only driver that is not clutching coasting, but then again, he is the only driver that pitted on lap 74 as well. So he must think he's got enough to go to the end. At the end of the day, it did put Spencer Ray behind Barrett Morton, but I don't think it put him behind by as much as he may have been hoping for. And then, of course, you have Sean Kaiser as well, who's yet to come in, who's half a lap ahead of these guys. I don't know. There's a lot to be decided yet in how this race pans out. 33 laps to go as of now. And this 24 car is still holding on to the race lead. Once again, the strategies are going to continue to just ramp up in intensity at Dover 1 week from now when we go racing to the Monster Mile. It'll be an intense penultimate race, as Dover races so often are. We are talking about 180 laps around a high-banked 1 mile concrete oval. Sean Deal pushing Nate Brooker up the track, saying, "Get out of my way." And Brooker will comply in turn 3. And hedge of bets, who's going to take the win? It's anybody's guess at this point in time. But that last lap by, Ray was just over a second quicker than Barrett Morton. So this driver is hauling right now. He is already reeled the gap in to just above 10 seconds in front. Now, Ray's issue is he's going to have to pass Ryan Dingler, but that is providing that Dingler does not pit before he gets to him. And there's effectively no lap traffic at the moment in between the 9 and the 1. So to say this is a less than ideal situation for Barrett Morton is a bit of an understatement here, because he's got almost no buffer room to work with. He's just got to hope that Spencer Ray burns up his equipment trying to get to him in the final third of this 150-lap race. Right now, Morton remains the only driver that is not clutch and coasting. Nick Brooker, the next driver to duck into pit road on lap, his lap 122, the leader's lap 123. He will fall, looks like, to 11th. Making his way back out onto the racetrack. And unfortunately gets out onto the track in front. Just behind Barry Morton. That's not going to help matters. That's only going to slow down Morton even more, as when Brooker catches him, it'll be a big charge to try to get around him. You still hear McGill trying to clutch and coast, and that is once again reeling Barrett Morton right back in. As their blitzes by Nate Brooker on the fresh tires. Sean Kaiser pitted on lap 70. We do not believe he is good to go to the end of this race either. And not clutch and coasting either, just like Morton is. So I do wonder if potentially these other guys think they might have enough to make it to the end. It'd be a huge drive, though, for Kaiser to be able to make it to the end of this race. I mean, pitting on 70 and getting all the way to the end, that is almost unfathomable. And again, you look at the stint times, and Kaiser pitted about on par with guys like Spencer Ray, like Frank Flores, Grant Peterson, Dylan Moore, all of which who could not make it to the end of this race. I doubt that the 24 is going to be able to do anything here. Devin Pirog did side-slap the outside wall again. Although, again, managed to keep it out of the grass and out from spinning around. McGill's clutch and coasting is causing him problems, though, and it's giving Morton some grief as well, because now he is stuck right behind McGill and just a little ways further behind. Well, there is Spencer Ray working his way through. There's McGill, and there is Ray. So Spencer Ray has caught up to Barrett Morton a lot quicker than I think Morton would have anticipated. And if Morton wants to get a buffer zone, he has got to get around Holden McGill in a hurry here. The points leader under heavy fire by a driver seeking out his second career win in L-TAC tonight. Ray's gotten around Dingler. There's nothing now standing between Spencer Ray and Barrett Morton. So Morton and McGill looking high, looking low. Spencer Ray in the background. Barrett Morton finally gets to the inside. It might be too little too late, though. Morton breaks around McGill. McGill will tuck and blind, and there is Spencer Ray. All over the back bumper, now charging after the top three. The driver out of Rolla, Missouri, lunging into turn number one, and look at how quickly he catches hold of McGill. And right there, backed that up perfectly, as he was able to back that move up just enough to allow for Holden McGill to drift wide on the exit. That gave Ray all the run he needed to break clear into third, now gunning for second. And all of a sudden put Spencer Ray into the net race lead, we think. The only way that this does not go Spencer Ray's way is if Sean Kaiser somehow finds a way to take an extra 5 laps into the tank. That or if we get a late race caution. Either one is equally possible. So 15 to go. Morton and McGill are remaining packed up at the battle for third and fourth on the racetrack. They are now the only battle on the racetrack, and McGill trying to keep touch with the number 9. Morton's strategy was a bold one, but I guess it just was not meant to be. We thought maybe, and who knows, if Spencer Ray had taken 4 tires, maybe he could have had the gap that he needed to keep that move, but what ifs? They are an ever-plaguing question that will plague the minds of every sim racer and real-world racer. What if this? What if that? What if I went with this strategy? What if I took 2 instead of 4? What if I took none? What if I went fuel only? It's all what ifs, and you can't ever really know until you try to put it into practice the next time you go around. .6 seconds remains the gap between Sean Kaiser and Spencer Ray, the top 2 remaining as they run. And if Spencer Ray is able to make this work, I will probably quit because I do not see any way of this working. But again, I don't race these cars all that often. I'm definitely a road racer, and I don't even do road racing all that much anymore. This is why I'm up here and not down there in the driver's seat. Couldn't make it. Sean Kaiser forced into pit road with just 10 laps to go. And that puts Spencer Ray back to the lead with now nothing to stop him. A valiant effort, my friend Sean, a valiant effort, but not meant to be this time around. He'll be forced into pit road and left wanting for that checkered flag. Nate Brooker currently trying to make a run on Stefan Purcell on about 13 lap pressure tires. Trying to go for the over-under. And how about that? He'll sneak in there on the inside line to make it work. Oh, contact again. Muscling Purcell on the track. They're going to hit 3 times down the back straightaway. So a lot of physical racing there. Purcell really throwing that one in to try to get back at Brooker. Goodness, what was that all about? As that got physical on the back straightaway. Take a look from above. There's 1, 2, 3. They just cannot get off of each other, and then Purcell center in, tried to get to the back bumper, I think, to push him back up the track, and just, well, swing and a miss. That's the second time Nate Brooks had a lot of contact down the straights of one of these runs. Morton and McGill for second and third remains one of the last battles on the racetrack, but it is a quickly fading one. With less than 10 laps now to go. Per Morton finally trying to put in the clutch to save a little bit of extra fuel, and that is letting McGill run back down the number 9. Tell you what, Holden McGill's been doing a great job on trying to stretch this out. Now, McGill has been saving a lot of fuel over this run. At this point, it's only, fourth is nowhere close to McGill, so Dingler will not be able to get up to that 21 car and make a run for the win. It's just a matter of who's going to finish on the second step and who's going to finish on the third. And right now, McGill's still doing a lot more fuel saving than Morton is. Spencer Ray, meanwhile, now with a 6-second lead. Came down on lap 109 after pitting on 70. Took a risk with the 2 stoppers, but it is a risk that paid off. 2 laps left to go for the Nashville Superspeedway. And no one can touch the number 1. It will be our first caution-free oval race since 2021 at Talladega in the Gen 6 era. Spencer Ray working into turn numbers 1 and 2 for the final time. And at long last, the number 1 will be able to put himself back into victory lane as he runs out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Spencer Ray, your winner in Nashville. And Per Morton picks up a solid second, with Holden McGill bringing it home in third. Spencer Ray will get to burn it down. It's not something he gets to do all that often as a race winner. He'll get to do it tonight, though, as he sets the Music City alight with a beautiful strategy drive for round number 19. The 2-time winner will become a 3-time winner here tonight, as we will get set to take a rundown of your official post-race results here after a pretty wild night of racing, all things considered, from Lebanon, Tennessee. And closing it out with the race win, of course, was Spencer Ray by 6 seconds over Per Morton. Holden McGill brings it home in the number 3 spot to round out the podium. Ryan Dingler was in 4th, with Sean Kaiser in 5th, the last car to finish on the lead lap. Grant Peterson, Frank Flores, Sean Deal, Josh McDougall, and Nate Brooker. Then Stephen Purcell all finishing 1 lap down. Devin Pirog and Justin Wilson 3 and 4, with Austin McColgan and Austin Gassion both not finishing / not starting the racing action here tonight. Well, after a long night of racing, let's take a rundown and we'll see if we can't get a word in with the driver of that number 1 car that takes it home with the race win here at the end of the night. It is a big night for Spencer Ray, as he will become now a 3-time winner in the L-TAC Cup Series. Spencer, it was all a strategy game with our first caution-free race in a very long time here in L-TAC, at least on the oval side of things. Kind of walk us through the strategy as a whole. What prompted that second stop?
I was 15 laps short, so figured I'd pit early, get it out of the way.
Kind of walk us, obviously you said pit early, get it out of the way. It gave you more than enough time to run down Barrett Morton. Was there ever a thought about trying to go for that one-stop strategy, saving a bit of fuel in that first stint?
No. I don't have fun saving fuel, so I decided I wasn't going to do that, and it worked out for once.
Well, fair enough. I mean, having fun seemed to work out for you here tonight. Looking to the next race, though, yet another concrete monster, this one named Miles, as we'll go to Dover Motor Speedway for the penultimate race. Will we see you go back-to-back?
It is my favorite racetrack, so let's hope.
Well, fingers crossed. We'll see if you'll take the W and take your 4th win on the season. For now, congratulations on number 3, and we will see you next week then in Dover, Delaware.
Yep, thanks.
Now Spencer Ray joining us up here from Victory Lane. We will now run down to pick up Barrett Morton, the driver of the number 9. Picks it up, was so close to getting that second win, but it'll still be a runner-up position here tonight for the driver of the number 9 as well. Barrett, you join us up here in the broadcast booth. A runner-up finish, maybe 6 seconds back, but hey, you still knocked off a driver that has been nigh unbeatable all season long. What was the strategy game that saw that number 9 car into the second place? How'd you stretch that first stint so much longer?
Wasn't shifting. Simple as that. These guys were shifting and just using more fuel. So I knew that you could go about 75 laps without shifting, according to my math, and so I wasn't shifting.
Obviously, you did manage to make it all the way through on a one-stop. Given how valuable the tires were for a lot of drivers in the latter portions of this race, was there ever any consideration on going for the 2-stop?
Yeah, actually, definitely was, because the car handled great in this track and everything, and I knew there wasn't going to be a caution, so it definitely crossed my mind. It seemed like it worked for Spencer for sure.
And looking now in towards Dover Motor Speedway, it's another track that's going to be based all on strategy, no doubt, and a track that it drives differently, but at the same time it doesn't, right? The surface is the same, so it's something at least familiar to the week prior. What can we expect to see from that number 9 car come Delaware?
Unfortunately, I will not be making that race, so I have to take a provisional, which is really going to hurt me in the championship, but it's all right. Just, we'll be there for the final at, I guess, California. I think that's where we're going.
Well, fair enough. We'll see you then when we go racing at Auto Club Speedway for the season finale, and we'll congratulate you once again on that runner-up position, and we'll see you then in 2 weeks.
All right, thanks, Nolan.
Barrett Morton join us up here in the broadcast booth for the driver to Louisville, Kentucky, down in the number 2 spot on the podium. And that takes us to the 3rd and final driver. Holden McGill will join us up here in Victory Lane. Could not go for the 4 in a row here tonight, but hey, a 3rd place finish, still nothing to shrug off at all. The strategy game was big tonight, and well, this time around, you were among a lot of the drivers holding that opted to go for the 1-stop instead of the riskier 2-stop.
Yeah, once Spencer got by me and I could tell that he was probably going to pull away from me, I swapped strategies to just do something different and see if it paid off, and it worked out for a good points finish, but not for the win, which is fine. The points are more important right now anyway.
You mentioned the points being more important. Obviously, you had that 9-point gap entering this race. I believe it'll be about the same when we enter race number 20 here, given how the stage is lined up. What's going to be the game plan to see if you can hang on to that points lead coming into Auto Club?
Hopefully, just do the same thing I did tonight. Just stay out of trouble, stay near the front, get as many points as I can, get any bonuses I can, and just have to do it 2 more times. And got a little bit of room to slip up, but not a whole lot.
Dover Motor Speedway is a very tricky track in of its own right. Difficult to pass on, but difficult to drive as well. For that number 21 car, is it going to be all about positions or about survival?
A healthy mix of both. Gotta be up front to get the points, but at the same time, gotta finish the race to get the points. So, just gonna have to be a happy medium of the two.
All right, well, we'll see if you'll be the one to conquer the beast when we go racing next week at Dover. Congratulations on the third place finish, and we will see you then in Delaware.
Thanks, buddy. We'll see you then.
Holden McGill joining us up here from the number 3 spot on the podium. And, well, that is going to do it then for us here tonight. What an absolutely wild night of racing this was. Absolutely fantastic from start to finish. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow morning to the VSCA Sports Car Championship at the MV Skin Lab Grand Prix of Long Beach at 10:55 a.m. Eastern Time. An hour and 40 minutes of sports car action going to come at you from the streets of California. And then, of course, OMSRL returns along with the Beer League next week on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, and we will be back with you in full for all of those shows as well. 2 races to go. The points battle remains tight at the top, but Holden McGill, with a lot to prove and a lot to lose, will no doubt be gunning for it when we go racing at Dover Motor Speedway. For now, my name is Lola Renfro. Thank you for joining us up here tonight at the Nashville Superspeedway. We'll see you next time when we go racing in Delaware.